so this is a app that I'm using that virtually practically changes my face, right? I mean, look how big my eyes are. Look how big. I'm on drugs. I'm on drugs. Merry Christmas, everybody. Now I'm going to have somebody come out and go, oh, it's proof she really does do drugs. Look at her. Look at her. Look at those eyes. Look at those eyes. I know this might be a shock for you, but I've been going through menopause. But despite that, I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
All right. Merry Christmas. I thought that I would start. Actually, I have a glass of wine to celebrate. I see that one person, it looks like here one person stayed through the opening song. Actually, the opening song is Brian, from E17, all right, from BHT TV. So, I can't remember his name right now. Yeah, that's a hit in England, and so it's a tribute to him. Wow, that was really airheaded of me. That's that's this guy in the UK that was in a boy band that has a BHTV, gets himself in a lot of trouble. But his channel is interesting. If you guys know, here, let me. Oh, never mind. I'll redeem myself later. And I'm not even stoned. Look, I should have gotten stoned before the show. I probably would have remembered it better. Oh, she's a drug addict. Oh, shame on her. Did you just mention the marijuana on Christmas? That's awful. All right. It seems like I might have, this is before the holiday, but I still wanted to do a show anyways, because I know that perhaps some of you will watch this later when you can't stand your family anymore, and you're like, God, I wish these people would, go away. Are you out there doing your last bit Christmas shopping, desperately trying to buy something for, No, I don't mean to be negative about Christmas. Actually, this particular Christmas, I've been feeling a lot more festive and everything. And so I've been more into the Christmas spirit. I did something different with my hair today. I got this product. It's called London. It's this London product. Like, I can't even, all things that are in the UK that I'm having. Yeah. And so it gives like a pearlized kind of, I don't know, little pinkish hue to the hair. It's a particular color, so I kind of thought I would do it for the Christmas spirit. Okay, so that was E17, and the song that I played beforehand for everybody on the "Stay Another Day," a big hit in the 90s. And I've been watching a little bit of BHTV and kind of following what Brian has to say, and about the underground tunnels in England and everything. So I'm watching here in the United States. So the topic of today is about augmented reality, which I'm going to get into a little bit later in the broadcast. And I'm probably going to also stream on my Instagram channel as well, because I'm going to upload this to Anchor. I'm going to start my podcast again. I did finish up my semester in school, and I've moved into a new place. And so I don't have to go back to school until the 10th. I am a journalism major at the moment, and then I'm intending to transfer to the university and get a degree, a Bachelor of Arts in journalism, medium, film. And by the way, I know that I'm kind of airheaded at the moment, and this is kind of a stagnant start to my show, but I did get a 4.0 this semester. So despite everything, despite losing my place or losing where I was living at 4 days, not 4 days, but 4 weeks, or in the middle of my finals, so the last month of school, and despite all the challenges that I've had on social media with, let's say, Sarah Rachel Adams, or just various people that I've been terrorized by on cyberbullied by on the internet, I've still managed to get all A's in all of my classes, and I had 14 units. So yay me! I am celebrating tonight, even if I can only see one person peeking in here, or nobody's talking in my chat yet. Cheers, a little vino. Now, something did happen today, and I do feel that, hey, G Cool, congrats on the 4.0. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I was determined. I was really, when life gets stressful, right? And, you're doing really good in school, and then something throws you off. I just persisted. Like, I was like, I came here to do this, and I'm not going to give up. And, I have the potential to do a 4.0. It's the first time I ever got a 4.0. I've always gotten all like, usually I would get all A's and 1 B. I get 1 B in one class. And I thought, man, I'm going to do it this time. My English 3 teacher, the day that I had a really traumatic day, the Sunday before I had all my shit out on the lawn, and I still went to school the next day. My instructor said something like, why do people finish their education? Because they have grit. It's not so much about whether or not, like you have the potential to do it, or that you're not smart enough to do it. It's just like, when the going gets tough, do you actually really hang in there? And so I it's more like an inner thing, right? Like when you do something, or you have a goal, and you say, you know what, I'm going to make this happen. Like, I'm going to make this media happen. Like, I have other plans, that I've been working towards, like in my social media class. Like, I'm branding another type of show as well. Like, I'm not going to just stay in this genre that I'm in, not my rabbit hole, right? Okay. So one of the things that happened today, I've been following this particular, J Cool, I don't know if this is the first time that you've ever come onto my channel before. I think this is the first time I've seen your name here. I think you might have commented on some other things earlier today. If correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe my last video of the virtual stuff. But the last couple of shows, I've been covering Bill Brockbrader. And if you don't know who Bill Brockbrader is, he is a man who professes to have been a Navy SEAL, and that he worked in, a special ops. Like, he was in a special team, a secret team for the Navy SEALs called Team 9. And a lot of people, are disputing him, saying, well, Team 9 never really existed. One of those people that are challenging Bill Brockbrader is a man named Don Shipley, who has a YouTube channel, and his whole shtick is busting fake Navy SEALs. He is a retired Navy SEAL, and he's one of those guys that have, like, the real kind of thick neck, a big burly guy, and, he's an older man now, but you're like, yeah, okay. That guy was definitely in the Navy SEALs. I believe he was in the Navy SEALs. He can prove that he was in the Navy SEALs. Yeah, I've caught up. Okay, good. So L Cool J, J Cool. I'm calling you L Cool J. No, I'm sorry. J Cool. Yeah, I've caught a few of the shows. I think the first Brockbrader show was one of the first ones I saw of yours. Okay, so you've been following it. All right, so Don Shipley came out, talked about him, and then on September 1st, I'm just recapping for people that might not know, that might just be seeing this one first. But if you want to see more, go to the other 2 videos before this one. So then, he was featured in Pursuit, which is by John Walsh, who had America's Most Wanted, who is the man who had his own child abducted, Adam Walsh, and they found he was beheaded. They found his head. And it's very tragic, but it's a well-known story, especially here in the United States. And then, they worked on the Adam Walsh Act. There's all kinds of different acts. By the way, different states have different acts for children that were abducted and murdered. And like, there's like the Jessica Blank Act and this act over here and blah, 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 blah. There's various different states that have done this. All right. And most states will, once somebody is, arrested for child molestation, most of the time, after they've gone to prison, they are required to register as a sex offender wherever they live at. So whenever you move to a neighborhood, you can look online and you can know exactly who are the sexual offenders in your neighborhood. All right. That's just something that happens. Or it is required. And it's been required for a very long time. Now, Bill Brockbader went on Carrie Cassidy's show in 2012, called himself Bill Wood, said that he was in, Team 9 in the Navy, secret stuff. And if you watch the whole video, you'll find out that he kind of wavers about it, about his arrest and, about the fact that he has to register as a sex offender, makes excuses that, people that lie. Haven't you noticed how they just kind of make an excuse? Oh, well, you know what? When I was really he told Carrie Cassidy, when I was really in prison, I wasn't really in prison. They just said that I went to prison, but I was still working on all these missions. And then when I got out, they just required me to register as a sex offender. Like as if like he made up another reason that this is happening. Like he never veers from his story of like, oh, this whole time I'm actually, saving humanity. Well, what happened is he got on In Pursuit. John Walsh featured the show as being, he was not he's an FBI fugitive. He's, you can call the show if you have a tip of where he might be at. Well, you know what? I think there's been some people calling the show again about tips because even more Brockbader, who's a former host of Revolution Radio, and they have their CP in their background, Revolution Radio, because the webmaster was arrested for CP back in 2014 when I was even a host on it. So I know it really happened. All right. Do birds of a feather flock together here? I mean, can we maybe assume that might be a possibility? Anyway, she, again, appeared on Miles Johnston's show today. And I watched the whole show all the way through. And I want to point out a few things for you guys. All right. Because who knows? Maybe this one's going to be taken down again as well. So, cheers. Merry Christmas to you. I just, hey, we're still here, right? I mean, of all the things that have been going on, and you know what we're talking about, right? I mean, a lot of people, I guess in London or England, they finally said, oh, okay, you're not going to be locked down. So everybody's rushing to get their presents and their, to make Christmas happen for them. Because God knows, like last year, we didn't really get one. And, some people want to criticize people for that. Oh, look at, they think, they don't realize that their whole life is just fucked. They just didn't realize and just go out and do your Christmas. Well, God bless people. I mean, even if this is our last year, like if we're going to be blown up by the end of the year, if we're just going to explode everywhere, God bless people for wanting to go out and have just a little bit of happiness that's left with their family, right? So shout out to everybody in the world. Like, even if you believe in Christmas or don't believe in Christmas, I mean, basically Christmas is a pagan celebration, right? Good evening, Jeff. I was wondering when you're going to show up. I'm getting to the nugget here. I'm kind of like, I'm probably wasting too much time explaining or re-explaining who Bill Brockbader is. But sometimes I try to think of well, what if somebody just watched this video for the first time? All right. So I'm going to pull up Miles Johnston's interview of Even More. I'm kind of shocked that they even attempted to come back and do another show, really. I mean, the last show they put on private, and I'm wondering, well, why put the last show with Even More Brockbader on private? but they come back and try to do another show as if we didn't, like, as if we all suddenly forgot what was on the first show. Like you would think it would be smart for them to just kind of like, oh, I don't know, leave it alone, right? So I'm gonna let you watch a couple places because I want to point out some of the and I wasn't expecting to really do my show tonight about this, but because this is happening, I just want to start off and get past this and then go on with some more fun stuff. Because I was thinking maybe even tonight, some of you guys might want to come on and join me. I could give you the link to the show, and we can talk in real time if you want to. You can be part of the show. I don't know if anybody wants to do that, but I'm just throwing it out there just for fun. All right. Okay, so let me share this. Okay, wait. I think I put the sound on. Sorry to do that. All right. Share. Okay. All right, so here we go. Oh, and then all right, just so you know, we're just showing this for educational purposes. This is for fair use. I've got my banner and ticker tape up, so just announcing that for you guys. And I'm only going to show some parts of it tonight.
Okay, I'll switch back to me, and then you will see yourself, me. Okay, a wee bit left of frame. We are recording.
All right, I want to point something out to you that first of all, that right here it says that, I don't know if you guys can see this right here. Maybe I can even make it a little larger. I guess I can't. He puts Canada, like he's putting the location of apparently like where she's at. And I find this really interesting because the last video that he did of her, he mentioned that she was in California. And then, then she was at some sort of office. She's going to talk about it here in a moment, where she talks about how she had to, she got criticized for wearing a mask on camera because she was at a public place, which is kind of odd. Like, how many people, let me just point this out to you guys. I'm going to be in the picture frame here. Hold on. How many people actually, do a show in a public place when you have a home or something else that's more private that you can be on a broadcast for? I mean, either you don't have a place, or you're in a desperate situation, or you're actually going someplace where the IP address can't be traced. All right, because in this show, she will mention how she has not seen Bill Brockbrader in 7 years. She says she's been married to him for 10 years, but she hasn't seen him for 7 years. All right. So if she hasn't seen him for 7 years, how does she know this much information about him? That's one of my questions there. All right. So let's continue here.
Well, Ava.
Is that better?
Welcome to Basis, whatever hell it is, 60, 25?
27?
20, Basis 27. Part 7, is it? Yeah. Well, the last basis we did, parts.
Brian Harvey, that's his name. I don't know why I forgot it. BHTV, Brian Harvey. All right, I remembered it. See, I don't feel so bad because Miles doesn't even know which show or which basis show this is. So she's confused, he's confused. I guess we're all confused right now.
6 was more of a sort of a conversation, and we said a few things, and this is really to sort of deal with that in a more formal way rather than a public library where you're wearing a mask and having to sort of hide a bit and all that.
Yeah, it wasn't hiding. It was more like,
well,
I was in a situation. I've been in a situation.
She wasn't hiding. Okay.
Where I've been kind of laying low,
Laying hello with my fugitive husband.
waiting for certain elements that have always been a thorn.
The fact that my husband is a fugitive for the FBI. that's her thorn. Is that it? Right?
To try and attack me, which they did try in October.
So explain all
they
that.
fell into their own net. Well, basically, it's difficult because of my husband's position.
Oh yeah.
And could you, from the perspective of people who haven't seen parts 1, 2, 3 to whatever, and the whole super soldier thing, what is your husband's position? And then people who used to pick up from this in 2022, which were right in the middle of the week before Christmas 2021. So
I'll tell your husband's position. Oh, look, is she shape-shifting there? What's going on with the eyelids? All right. I'll tell you what's happening with her husband. Her husband failed to register as a sex offender, and he's a fugitive, and he's really been missing for a long time. And here she is on Miles Johnson's show once again to do damage control. All right, that's what's going on here.
From that perspective, it's 11 years. Is it 10 years after the Super Soldier Summit 1 and 2, and a whole lot of things happened. So we didn't have Super Soldier Summit 3. And a whole lot of things happened in the middle of all that with the death and murder of Max Spears, James Casper.
Okay, is it a death or murder, Miles, or is it a drug overdose, or is he still alive? Because they're going to you're going to find out a little bit later that Eva Marie will go on as if he's still maybe alive, and then he'll tell us. Miles tells the audience, "Oh yeah, he had 2 deaths." So which is it, Miles? Is it a death? Is it a murder? What is it? Because you vacillated on the facts. Am I wrong here, guys? Am I wrong that these people have not vacillated on the facts? They go back and forth, murdered, not murdered, drowned, whatever.
Jail, and potentially released into secure custody. So that's the 2 main characters. And then we mentioned things about Sarah Adams, who's meant to be after me. And
Sarah's after him.
Maybe she's saying nice things, but
Sarah's after everybody. Okay, let's just face it. So that doesn't make Miles special.
No, she doesn't.
And also James Rink, and there's all the main characters was basically.
What is James? You'll see how she talks about. I'm keep interrupting, but you're going to see later on how she talks about James Rink and Sarah are tight and they're doing these things together and blah 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 blah. She did that on the last show too as well. And, I've talked to James Rink before, actually. I posted something, I don't know, I think Sarah said something really bizarre, like I was with a plot of people to have her murdered, just like the same people that tried to murder her when Max was died. Something like that. Or maybe it's the one where, she was going to call my school up and tell me that I wasn't, tell my, I guess the college that I wasn't who I said I was. Like, she's made so many erroneous threats. Trust me, I have the screenshot, so I'm not lying. And one of those times, because I'm friends with James Rink on Facebook, James Rink even IM'd me through Facebook and acting like he didn't even hardly know Sarah. He goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe she's doing this." I briefly talked to her, interviewed her once, but the way they talk like, James Rink and Sarah Rachel Adams are like the vermin of the Super Soldier program, and they have it out for Miles Johnston, according to Eva.
In 2012 at Super Soldier Summit 1, Super Soldier Summit 2, and things got so bad they didn't have a Super Soldier Summit 3, which was all organized by Lorian Fenton, who in the most recent incarnation was involved with.
Lorian Fenton was like the marketing director for Revolution Radio, and yeah, she did the Super Soldier Summits are her baby. I believe it was 2012 and 2013 where they had the Henderson, Nevada Super Soldier Summit. This was like a year before I actually joined Revolution Radio. And then they're going to talk about how, when they all got abducted or something like that too. Anyways, Eva keeps saying it was in Las Vegas, but it wasn't in Las Vegas, Eva. It was in Henderson, Nevada. Come on now.
With the brilliant, I thought, fantastic thing with Bob Brown, the UFO MegaCon. about 3 years ago. It was really great. Such a refreshing new start. That all sort of went east-west, and I gather that Sarah is now part of this board of directors of that conference, or is it the International UFO Congress?
I have
Which
no
which
idea.
one?
And I have
Which
no
one?
interest in her at all.
Okay.
And any
She has no interest in her, but she's got
So
to keep talking about.
it's very important that
She
we're
has no
not
interest in her, but she's got to trash her off and on throughout this show and the show before. But she has no interest in her. Right. Okay.
sure whether it's the International UFO Congress or Bob Brown's UFO MegaCon. But anyway, apparently, I mean, and if anybody's doing a career thing, good luck to them, right?
Just like
But
you,
Yeah,
when
Miles.
it's going to
right?
come out
the
on
problem
me
is that
and whatever.
the
Okay.
problem is
Over
that
to you.
she's building her career. She's building her career on the backing of you and I after Max's death.
How
So
did?
because
Okay,
we
first
gave
of
her
all,
that chance to do good.
how does she come into the picture? Like on the backing of her, like who is she really? I mean, do you guys? I mean, like, does she have a channel? Where did she launch the Super Soldier program? Right? I mean, if anybody was launched into any type of a career, we got to give Miles Johnston that credit, because Miles Johnston put Sarah on with Max, right? Lots of interviews with Sarah from Miles Johnston. Did she interview Sarah, or maybe she interviewed Sarah on her radio show? She had a profile up on her show, but I don't know how often she broadcast. Like I don't see where she can include herself into the equation here.
And do right, because everybody deserves a second chance to have an opportunity. She's amassed support, but the problem is that she would never reciprocate, and she won't admit where she's tried to leverage a lack of understanding to propel herself forward at the cost of others. That's where the problems lay, because now anyone that goes to work with her thinking, all these things, they're lies. So it's not going to work, right? Until she comes to a place where she can actually be transparent. And that's not on me, and that's not on you. That's on her. And that's important, that moving forward, anyone that tries to build with her has that understanding. That's important, because I'm not lending my word to her any longer. I made that mistake, right? My husband was brought into a naval program, I believe through his uncle, who were family.
It's weird. I think there's a cut there that he's done, because it just seems like she jumps from talking about Sarah to her husband. Okay, so here we go with her, the fake story about what her husband's done, right?
Naval career, family, Brock Rader, German.
And what does that matter that he's German? Is that an asset for him? Does she think that the fact that, like, why bring up that he's German, and because he's German he's in the military? Like, what, other races aren't part of the United States military? I mean, are we supposed to be impressed? I mean, are we talking, is it Uberman here? I mean, why bring up the fact that he's German? I just don't understand. The thing that gets me about these people, they're so into their own genetics, or what they or the genetics that they claim to have. I've got better blood than you do. I'm an alien hybrid. I'm special. I'm in a fake Navy. I'm this. I'm that. Donate to my channel. Buy my CD.
That moved him in the early 90s to San Diego in California, out of Utah, Salt Lake, Mormon, Utah.
San Diego, that's where he did his deed to the young girl that was 11 years old that came to babysit for him. Yeah. Okay. Are you going to mention that part, Eva?
So he was brought into basically the projects that Kennedy had created, an Irish Catholic, to start to work within the Navy to counter the potential of a breakdown of the United States Constitution, which is what the Latter-day Saints are all about. They're based
Okay,
on
what is this right now? Like she's going to like this patriot thing. Like all of a sudden, like he went to the Navy to defend the Constitution. If you watch Bill Wood, well, he called himself Bill Wood then, on Carrie Cassidy's first interview, he talks about how he worked with Team 9 to redirect the Tomahawks missiles. All right, not that he was there, he joined the Navy to defend our wavering Constitution in 1990. Was our Constitution wavering in 1990? Were people even concerned about it? I'm going to catch her on a few timelines here. See, these people want to like push the patriot button all the time.
on the last days, and specifically the Constitution of the United States for Utah Mormons. So when my husband and I came out in 2012, he didn't have a lot of evidence, but what he did have was his knowledge as a Utah Mormon that gave him a lot of wisdom around what happens behind the scenes that most people do not have.
This is not anything he talked about.
So,
I mean, I should probably even pull up the interview with Carrie Cassidy, because this has, what she's saying has nothing to do with anything that he said in 2012. Zero, zippo. This is all just mouthing stuff, just blah, 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 blah. Not even historical in our world. Not even accurate in our fake world.
He had, before he came out on Carrie Cassidy's Project Camelot in 2012, he had been in Las Vegas. And the work he was doing in Las Vegas was directly tied to the 100-year banking charter ending.
Okay, would that be the work after he was dishonorably discharged for molesting an 11-year-old, that finally when she was 15 she came out and admitted it, and he was like arrested and incarcerated in prison for 3 years? Is that after that, did the Navy, was he still so special? Like, if you look at Bill Brockbrader, he does not look like Don Shipley. I know a real Navy SEAL myself. All right. I mean, my ex-husband's brother was a Navy SEAL, a real Navy SEAL. The guy looked like a Navy SEAL. If you listen to Don Shipley talk about people who finally make it into the Navy SEALs, they have to pass all these different tests, and it's not just physical. Some of it's also mental. All right. Do you really seriously think that a man like Bill Brockbrader, who's kind of skinny, all right, like he might have some pictures out there where he was cut at one point, but he doesn't really have the physique of a Navy SEAL. Let's just face it. Okay. He said, like when he's sitting there on Carrie Cassidy's show, he's sitting there going, oh, well, I was working in the area. It's more about my brain. It's about my intelligence, not so much about my physical being. No, when you're a Navy SEAL, it's about it's across the board. You got to be good at a bunch of stuff. You have to be good. You can't be like just really excellent at one thing and then suck at something else. All of them have to be a B. You have to have a B grade on all of them. That's what Don Shipley says. A real retired Navy SEAL, because I've been watching his channel. All right, so this is just, I can't believe it. I'm sorry I get excited about this and my voice raises because I just think it's such a lie. I can't stand it.
899, which was what basically was the bond that backed the United States Constitution. So most people don't understand those kinds of logistics. But that's what President Kennedy was working towards when he started the 0111 executive order and started working with President Sukarno of Indonesia, trying to reestablish a financial movement in United States currency. So the SEALs were created by Kennedy. Go ahead.
There's the Navy SEALs, but you were talking about the as opposed to the Federal Reserve note.
I love how they like to always pull everything.
Right.
I mean, I don't know for sure if it was created by Kennedy. Maybe we should look it up. Let me Google this really quick. Let's look. Did Kennedy? Let's just verify this. Let's just double check her right now. Did Kennedy create the Navy SEALs? I'm just curious if that's correct. In 1962, as the conflict in Vietnam began ramping up, President John F. Kennedy established the first 2 Navy SEAL teams. Okay, she's correct on that. All right, we'll give her that. I just want to double check, right? She's right.
Yeah, tied into all of that. And my husband was brought into a SEAL project that was kind of an offshoot Black. He trained in the very same way that most of the SEALs trained. He had some of his program shortlisted, like he didn't have everything that all the SEALs get, because it wasn't something that he was able to do. They had to move him in a parallel project, but also keep it secret. So he did train.
Then how is he a Navy SEAL? I mean, like explain that. Is there a new department of Navy SEALs? Not all Navy SEAls are, like, how is he a Navy SEAL then? Right?
Alongside Eric Prince of SEAL Team 8. And last time we talked, when I was at the library, unfortunately, and had to have a mask on because the library is a, socialist run program.
So she was at the library. She's more ashamed of having to have a mask on her face than us questioning, like, what the hell was she doing in the library? I mean, I don't care if she was in a public place. Like, for example, if I did a show in a public place, like I have, like I've done my broadcasts at school, right? I've been in the cafeteria and I've just popped up my laptop and I've done whatever on it. If that's what I was doing, for whatever reason, then there's a reason for it. But when you're married to an FBI fugitive and you do your show in a library, all right, then we have questions about it. Not the fact that you have to put your mask on while you're there. It was the mask that gave it away that you were at your own residence and you're married to a fugitive. That's the question, Ava. Or Eva. I think it's Eva. She corrects Miles Johnson. Eva, like Eve, right? Okay.
Program in Canada. And I had to have my mask on because of the library mask Nazis coming around. I did try.
So she said she's in a library in Canada. Did you hear that? Let's go back. Well, you.
I didn't. I'm picking my battles at the moment.
She said that she was in a library in Canada. Miles Johnson decides to put Canada on the outside description of this video. I'm questioning whether or not. Let me stop this for a second. I'm questioning whether or not Miles, if they're not saying Canada and she's saying that she's in Canada so that they can like decoy and throw off the FBI. Do they not realize that if the court martial wanted to, they could just call Miles Johnston up and ask him like about the whereabouts of Eva Moore Brockbrader? Like, just because you like put it there that you're in Canada, that you don't think that they can't trace the actual IP address of where she broadcasts from? Hi, Steve Ronan. Yeah, you know what? I played Brian Harvey at the beginning of the show. Their Christmas song. Sting Another Day. I opened the show with that. I think you missed it, but if you go back and play it, that's how I started. So I just wanted, you know what? When I was playing it, Steve, I was thinking of you. I bet Steve Ronan's gonna like to hear Easy Street, Brian Harvey. So Merry Christmas. Okay, what's this? That doesn't look like that's appropriate. So we're going to block this user. Okay. We're not interested in going to your porn site. Okay. Now let me see. He got 11 years, but only served 3 for molestations over a 3-year period. Lauren Pritchard supports Bill Brockbrader. Yeah, we're going to get to Lauren. We're gonna get to Lauren in a second because I had another reason why I wanted to bring this up, because I had some a little bit of a spar with her in the comments here. And why not look at them, right? Let's look at those comments. Let's see. When you leave comments on places, we can go back and look at them. And since Lauren Pritchard is a public personality, there's no problem showing it. So let's do it.
So I didn't want to get into a whole thing on camera, and I apologize for that.
No, that's okay.
Why.
It's just a few people said, "Oh, she's wearing a mask." Anyway, that's.
You don't want to get into the whole thing on camera because you're a fugitive. All right, you're probably in some library in California. Like, did you go from like this last show to all of a sudden being in Canada? Like, why did Mayo say that you were in California, and now you're saying that you're in Canada? Like, come on, man. Let's get real here. Where are you really? Where are you really even more, Brock Raider? Where are you?
Oh yeah, no, totally. And I totally understand why they reacted, and I have no problem with them reacting like that.
Like, everybody reacted because we don't like masks. Like, come on, man. Get real.
What isn't known is what I'm dealing with on my end. So in October, the same people that attacked my husband in 2012 when he came out in Project Camelot with Carrie Cassidy tried at the beginning of October to attack me on a multifaceted way, using their.
Really? I mean, does anybody buy this? Like, okay, October would have been after In Pursuit aired in September. Like, now these people from 2012 are attacking her again. Like, these people are always victims, right? Because they do targeted individual shows, right? They're victims. They're saving humanity. They're in a phony secret super soldier program is what they're in.
Their networks. Now, apparently, after speaking with the daughter of one of these people, it's come to my attention that this ties into the Iranian government, the previous Iranian government.
What?
That was basically pre-1979 revolution. So there seems to be, and of course, Iran is a non-centralized bank, right? So right before or right after Max's passing or his disappearance, whichever it is.
See?
We saw
his passing or his disappearance, whatever it is. Look at that eye thing going on there. Whoa. Whoa. Sometimes it isn't until you freeze frame somebody that you can really read a lot right there, right? Okay.
A huge turnover in Saudi Arabia at the House of Saud. We've heard that President Barack Obama facilitated a large plate of basically cash that was transported in a huge military plane to Iran, right? For those that were paying attention, in 2012, President Barack Obama started contracting with Eric Prince.
Okay, let's move on. It goes on.
For his protection and his family's protection.
Okay.
For money. And so there were people watching that saw that Carrie actually took a payment.
Okay, this is interesting. Let's go back a little bit.
Her ego aside long enough to actually get the information that my husband was trying to present.
Okay.
That during the first one my husband was supposed to attend, I went in his place.
Okay, let's see.
President Barack Obama started contracting.
I guess we got to go through this. This
on United States soil, which is against the Posse Comitatus. This is what threw my husband into the interview with Carrie Cassidy's, and he made that very clear at the beginning, that many people within the United States who had given an oath to protect both foreign and domestic were very concerned with this December 25th midnight addition to the NDAA, which was the National Defense Authorization Act. And so basically, a lot of the private contractors who had been going over to Iraq and going over in a very profitable way, were also knowledgeable that there were contractors on US soil. So, but if you're a civilian, you know, caught up in the Kardashians, you're probably not paying attention to this stuff. So at the 2012 Super Soldier Summit, I went in the place of my husband, which I don't know if you knew that because you weren't at the first one. You were at the second one, correct?
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So that may have been a miscommunication, is that during the first one my husband was supposed to attend, I went in his place. So I was very green to this whole situation and I was basically thrown into it.
So why was she going into his place? Like I mean, I don't really know her deal totally. Like I do know she had a show. Is she also supposedly a super soldier? Like she was. Why couldn't her husband attend? What, because he was on the run from the FBI? Like, all right,
I did my very best to represent him in his absence. At the time, he was a part of basically an operation that was happening on US soil that was basically vetting the Department of Justice using.
I just can't imagine the US government actually, after they dishonorably discharge somebody. And trust me, Don Shipley, I've showed in my other videos because I mirrored, you know, I showed his channel a little bit. He shows up the documents of his dishonorable discharge from the military. All right, but here's what these guys are going to say. They go, oh, well, it's because he's in deep secret. I guess when you're working deep secret military stuff, we don't care if they molested an 11-year-old. Is that it, Eva? Like, he's not guilty. Like, the whole thing was just made up. Because my last video, I show him talking about it. So basically, he admits to doing what he did. But his story is like, oh, well, she was old enough and willing to do it. Like, she wanted it, which is like, you know, kind of disgusting to do to a victim. Like, what did she wanted it when she was 11? Or, you know, like define wanting it. Like, no matter what, she was a child. And on top of that, she was your ex-wife's sister. Like, you know, oh, he's from a Mormon background. Okay, well, maybe that explains it.
In the MSA, nobody knew this at the time. So he came out on Carrie Cassidy's program and he announced, I won't be arrested. I'm part of something and doing something. And he had just come out of Vegas.
I won't be arrested.
Before the Panama Papers had been released.
For not registering as a sex offender?
Before the NXIVM, Harvey Weinstein, Epstein ties had been exposed and the one.
Okay, let's go here.
His absence.
So realize that it's 2012, and yet she's saying her husband. Basically, I believe what she's saying is that her husband couldn't be there. You know, he was working in Vegas on Epstein and Harvey Weinstein in 2012. Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. So, what? Harvey Weinstein got busted, in 2018? Wasn't it 2018? Maybe it was 2017. All right. 2019, Jeffrey Epstein gets busted. Like, we all knew stuff about the Lolita, the plane, the Lolita, the Jeffrey Epstein. We knew this. We were watching it bubbling under the surface. We know, this community, I knew back in 2015 about Jeffrey Epstein. I knew about Jeffrey Epstein before, like during the election of Hillary Clinton and Trump. I knew about Jeffrey Epstein, and I knew about the association that Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton and Kevin Spacey and the flight log and everything else. There was already, we knew that Prince Andrew didn't have to go to court over the last time that Jeffrey Epstein went to court. He's been exonerated. Okay, the Prince Andrew was exonerated a long time ago from having to go to court or to be questioned or anything. Now it's a little bit of a different story, right? Or it has been, like, people say, hey, give it up, Prince Andrew. Let the FBI investigate. They want to ask questions. But she's saying that her husband, before in 2012, was actually working on busting Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein. I'm going to call her out on this because she is morphing timelines. She's morphing things. Like her story doesn't have it doesn't line up with the sequence of events. I guess, like, you can talk out of your ass and go, oh well, it took that long to actually really bust these people. How did Harvey Weinstein get busted? The women that he violated, the actresses that he violated, decided to come forward. And then that's how we got the hashtag Me Too movement. Remember? I don't think Bill Brockbrader had anything to do with this. I'm sorry, Eva, not buying it.
At the time, he was a part of basically an operation that was happening on U.S. soil that was basically vetting the Department of Justice using the NSA. Nobody knew this at the time. So he came out on Carrie Cassidy's program and he announced, I won't be arrested. I'm part of something and doing something. And he had just come out of Vegas. So this is before the Panama Papers had been released. This is before the NXIVM, Harvey Weinstein, Epstein ties had been exposed, and the thousands of shell corporations that were basically being created and moving money out of the Panama Papers law firm, right?
That was about 10 years later, wasn't it?
Fonseca, yeah. So Bill was the one basically researching what was happening in Vegas, and then went to Carrie and said on his second interview with Carrie, he let her know that he was in Vegas. He didn't go into the Panama Papers. He didn't go into anything more. He was trying to lay the foundation to build the trust. If she had the capacity to actually show up and care about her guests, which she didn't. So that was the problem, is that Carrie was not able to put her ego aside long enough to actually get the information that my husband was trying to present himself. And that's where there was a breakdown in communication, unfortunately.
Well, maybe like Carrie realized that Bill Brockbrader was actually an FBI fugitive for a sex offender. Did you ever think about that? Could that have been possible?
Is that he was trying to give Carrie the information. Now, the third interview that he did with Carrie, I joined as a mystery guest. At the time, Carrie thought that it was another gentleman in Idaho that was going to join us. And this was a previous guest that she had on who she adored, which was Dr. Pete Peterson. So she was under the idea that Pete Peterson was going to be the third interview mystery guest. But what she didn't know is that I had been studying all of Pete's work for years, and that Pete wanted me to go on. He did not trust her because after the last interview he did with her, basically his wife died.
Okay, so let's move it to here. See what's going on here.
The babies of vaccinated couples on both sides, male and female, have been fully vaccinated.
Because he had to allow all these people to show themselves through free will, give them the chance to show themselves.
All right, so I don't want to take too much time here, but I want to get towards
it was like the Briar,
because this is what I wasn't intending to do. Right around here
in USA for Stargate.
Right around here, I think like about the 110 mark. I'm like at 108, 109. We're going to get to 109. But right around this area right here, she starts to talk about her husband and John Walsh. All right. And I want you to hear this part, because this is getting to where, well, you'll see.
Gates that are underground in the ocean, Aden, the Gulf of Aden. And also, so what are we dealing with in Antarctica?
And then you got the hot zone, as Dark Journals calls it, off Cuba.
Okay.
The so-called the Bermuda Triangle area, and of course the other zone which is associated with that is High Brazil, southwest of Cork in Ireland, and that all connects with some kind of Atlantis stuff, a city.
Right. Exactly.
Cities of crystal.
And that's what I was getting, is that this underground base in Antarctica could be piggybacking off of a network of Atlantean type under ocean bases.
And bear in mind that the Thule Island in South Georgia ring of islands south of the Falklands in the southern hemisphere, there's a Thule Island up in Greenland. The Thule base in Greenland. So why do we have one north and why do we have one south?
Interesting.
Maybe they're going between
President
the poles.
Trump made a point of talking about Greenland as well and buying it.
Which island? The base?
Greenland? I believe that was
Greenland.
Greenland.
Hi, Art of a Marian.
Well,
Hi,
it's
Cellar
going to be mostly
Door.
nice there, but we're
33.
we're in a under minimum. It's going to get colder for the next 22 years at least. So if people want to dig things up, they're going to have to make hay while the sun doesn't shine. Okay, have you?
I think we're good. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
I think we're good for now.
And with all due
to...
respects to all this, we've been saying things. If they want to have a right to reply, they're welcome to have a right to reply.
It's gonna come out here though.
The other thing I wanted to just cover
Here we go.
is that I've been dealing with this John Walsh network. So John Walsh is a prominent person put on public television in the United States and North America as this hero. And he's been partnered with somebody who attacked my husband in early 2012. We've had a lot of intelligence coming out about Florida being used specifically by Ukraine and for human trafficking purposes, much like Ireland. There was a lot of babies.
Okay, did you see how much her eyes blinked there? Her eyes blink a lot. Let's go back. I want to hear this again. John Walsh, right? America's Most Wanted. Megan Walsh is his daughter. Last show, she mentioned that she was speaking to Penny Shepherd and that Megan Walsh was outing her father. She said her father, this is what she said on Miles Johnson's last show. And, Miles put that show in private, but I have the footage on my channel. She said that John Walsh was guilty of beheading his own son in a satanic occult ritual. Now, John Walsh has been after her husband since 2012. Now, notice that she makes no mention, not one time has she ever said that her husband was on television. There was a show where they depicted it on television on September 1st of this year. Not once is she admitting that to you guys. I'm sorry, but how do you sit here and argue with anybody and defend this woman when we can safely, legitimately say that she is not telling the whole truth? Doesn't it bother you that she's on Miles Johnston's show, not telling us the whole truth about what's going on with her husband? So what other part of the whole truth is this woman not telling us? That's my main point to even show this on my show right now. I'm sorry I get angry about this, but I really dislike people who create channels on YouTube and they fancy themselves as being the truth media and they don't disclose the truth. All she's doing here is putting down John Walsh without any facts, any evidence to cover up her husband who has been convicted of molesting an 11-year-old and done time and has refused, I think for years, to register as a sex offender. And she's making up all this stuff about how he's doing this and doing that and the Panama Papers and blah, 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 and Epstein and Harvey Weinstein and just dropping all these names for everybody, triggering everybody. Oh, what did she say in the last show? Sarah Rachel Adams and James Rink are working with the Podestas. She's pushing all the BUAnon buttons, all of the right-wing buttons, right? And then she has the gall in parts of the show to go, amen, and God bless you. What a phony. What a phony. Okay? I gotta go to it again. I have to hear these lies one more time for our viewing pleasure.
And with all due respects to all this, we've been saying things. If they want to have a right to reply, they're welcome to have a right to reply.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to just cover is that I've been dealing with this John Walsh network. So John Walsh is a prominent person put on.
I've been dealing with this John Walsh network. Oh, how so? How so, Eva? You've been dealing with the show In Pursuit. Have they been calling you? Have they been trying to find out where he's at? Is that the problem that you've been having in October? Oh, but they were after him in 2012 with a bunch of other people, and they were after you too, right, Eva? Is that the story?
Public television in the United States and North America as this hero, and he's been partnered with somebody who attacked my husband in early 2000s.
As a hero, like your husband's claiming? Is that the same kind of hero that we're talking about here? Huh?
2012. We've had a lot of intelligence coming out about Florida being used specifically by Ukraine and for human trafficking purposes, much like Ireland. There was a lot of babies that were trafficked into the U.S.
And there are an associate number of companies which has got a head office here in Salisbury, I understand, which is a shell company, and that includes companies which involve.
Okay, that's pretty much it. All right, but I'm also going to.
In other words, they can build any.
I'm going to show you when you Google Brock Brader. And you know this. Okay, you know what? This is. I want to say something specifically for Lauren Pritchard. All right, Lauren. I'm going to show you where you can find out the information about Bill Brock Brader. Okay, because let's just look at the chat here of the conversation that I had with Lauren Pritchard. Just because Lauren Pritchard doesn't play nice, right? Okay, let me see if I can find it. Okay, here it is. All right. I can't wait to show you guys this. I can't wait. Hold on. All right, let's go with, this was such a pleasant conversation today. You know what? When I had this conversation with Lauren, it made me feel so warm and fuzzy inside. All right. Here she says she's right about SRA. I got your back, sister. All right. So Lauren Pritchard, Child Rescue Worldwide. She was Space Mama. She's changed herself to Child Rescue Worldwide, and she's got her back. Okay. So she's got the wife, all right, of a convicted pedo, right, and a sex offender being searched by the FBI on the FBI want list on In Pursuit right now. Anybody can call in the show and give a tip if they find him someplace. And she's got this woman's back, but she professes to be a child rescue worldwide. By the way, she takes donations for that. All right. I don't know if she's a nonprofit. I would say probably not. All right. So she goes from Space Mama well, by the way, she claims to be James Casbolt's twin flame. Right. So, and she's been, had immaculate conception of being impregnated because, her DNA is special too. And she's a pagan and a Christian at the same time. And yet she demonizes all witchcraft, even though she engages in she's a pagan. So I'm sorry, isn't that like witchcraft still? That's like being a white witch, right? Paganism, it's kind of like the same thing, right? Divination, it's not too far off the mark, right? They all do the same thing. If you're going to be in the occult, wear it. All right. If you're going to be a Christian, wear it. But this woman's both, because you figure she could probably make money on both sides, right? That's a switch hitter of spirituality. So here she goes. I say She's just running the anti-Sarah train for the algorithm. This woman is doing damage control because her husband is an FBI fugitive and was featured on In Pursuit with John Walsh September 1st, 2021 for not registering as a sex offender. You're against abuse of children, correct? By the way, they got 3 likes. Ha. Let's just, okay. And then she says, my friends, like my friends, like she's talking to her friends on Miles Johnston's video, because all her friends are Miles Johnston friends. So she's talking to the peeps, her peeps, because I'm an outsider. I'm bad news. I don't have the same friends as she does. And maybe that's a good thing, right? My friends, Tere Joyce is such a liar. I couldn't take anything she says for truth. In fact, I would suggest it's likely the opposite. I think that's all she is here to do. Inversion, wizardry, chaos, magic, or something. Oh yeah, Lauren, I'm a big magician. Lauren, I'm a big magician. That's right. I'm a magician. Right. Okay. I'm not, Lauren. I am a woman who was a host on a couple channels in this media, and I've come to see the light. All right. I'm also a stand-up comedian. I'm also going back to school. I'm also an entertainer. You should really know who you're actually really talking to. I don't practice magic. If I do magic, well, that's because I'm just blessed by God. All right. And now let's move on. Oh, wait a second. I write back 9 hours ago. I edit because I try to get my words right. Dude, research it. I'm not lying. It's a fact. You are a liar for calling me one. I dare anyone reading this to look it up. He is an FBI fugitive for not registering as a sex offender. Get informed, Lauren, before you knee-jerk ad hominem. You make knee-jerk ad hominem arguments. Poisoning my character to defend the argument is not acceptable. Then she responds, I will keep it in mind to get the real story if the chance presents itself, but I will never take anything for face value if it comes from the chaos mouthpiece that is Tere Joyce. You know what? What's chaos, Lauren? Tell me, what's chaos? Because I'm pointing a finger at the lie here? I guess that's chaos for you. Look, in your picture, you are holding a pregnant fake stomach. And you're going to tell me that I'm spreading chaos and lying? You know what? Your whole channel is that. Your whole channel is just a bunch of bullshit. All right? And here you go here. I don't know how my reply got taken down. This is me because I said something way more poignant, way more descriptive than this. I went in a way more descriptive description of who he was. But apparently Miles Johnston doesn't want that up. So I rewrote it and I said, I don't know how my reply got taken down. Probably too many facts for this group to handle. You need to heed your tongue of slander and hate. You would think that someone who has the title Child Rescue Worldwide would drop the slander and ego and start working those fingers on the search engines. The truth is at your fingertips, sweetie. And you know what? So what a hypocrite. All right, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it right now. Lauren Pritchard, you're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite, and I'm going to show just how much of a hypocrite you are. Oh, I'll check it out I'll check it out if it comes up. If it just happens, like if it falls in my lap, and and I realize that he really was a convicted sex offender, like he really was like in pursuit, like he really the FBI, he really is a fugitive. That Miles Johnson is putting his wife on and putting things like, oh, she's in Canada, or talking about her in Canada when before she was in California. Like what? You're tripping them off? Like you like, what is the purpose of that? What was the purpose of this entire video if it wasn't to make her husband look like he was okay? Like as if he was the real deal, as if there was no reason for him to be searched. I'm sorry, but this makes me irate. It makes me irate on Christmas. I cannot stand hypocrites. I can't stand a hypocrite, Lauren, because I would think somebody who really gave a damn about children and had the audacity to make a Patreon account to collect money for your good work for the children, you would actually go and look and see who Bill Brockbrader really is. Am I chaos? Yeah, I hope so. If I'm spewing the truth, I will be a chaos for truth. I'll say, you smell like bullshit. I'll say it to your face. I don't even have to do it on my YouTube channel. Let's find out about Bill Brockbrader. I don't have to be right. If I'm wrong, I'll say, you know what? I'm wrong. I made a mistake. I've done it several times. But don't sit back and be all haughty, calling me something, calling me a liar in public, in a public forum. Prove that I'm a liar. Prove that I'm lying, because I'll prove that you're lying. And I'm going to do it right now. Man posing as a Navy SEAL on the run for failing. Okay, so this is www.investigationdiscovery.com. This is John Walsh. This is the show In Pursuit. Man posing as a Navy SEAL on the run for failing to register as a sex offender. U.S. Marshals said Bill Brockbrader, also known as William Brockbrader or Bill Wood, has previously earned a living by fixing the small lasers on the end of laser hair removal equipment for businesses. He is a convicted sex offender. So I guess he works on laser hair removal, but not really doing special ops for the Navy, right? He's a convicted sex offender who pretends to be a Navy SEAL and is wanted for failing to register and has a number of tattoos. Have you seen Bill Brockbrader? Call or text our hotline. Please remember, you can remain anonymous. There he is there, guys. Does he look like a Navy SEAL to you? I mean, I'm asking you, does that read Navy SEAL at all? Does this person look like they are like saving humanity on special ops, working with the Panama Papers and all this kind of stuff back in 2012 and whatever? Does he look like that to you? Because he doesn't to me. Bill Brockbrader was supposed to be a United States veteran, a loving husband, a doting father. He was supposed to protect, love, and guide his family, but according to the U.S. Marshals, he lived in lies before more than living in truth. The case begins back in 1993 when Brockbrader's deception was finally revealed to his wife, Tana. Now this is, I'm going to go get my glasses. Hold on, let me come right back. Sorry. The couple had been married a short time and had recently had their first child, a son, when Tana's 11-year-old sister, Janelyn, flew to San Diego to help the couple with babysitting. At the time, Brockbrader was in the Navy, and Tana was doing a lot of the family's heavy lifting at home by herself. Janelyn not only went out to California from Idaho to help out that summer, but for the next 3 years, she made the trip back to Brockbrader's home. It wasn't until the summer after Janelyn turned 15 when her father sat her down and began to talk to her about some of the depression he was noticing in his child. Janelyn's father felt he noticed the biggest change in Janelyn when she would return home after spending the summers in San Diego. It was after one of those trips when he asked his daughter to write a letter to herself. Janelyn took her father's advice and wrote a letter. This is when the truth was finally revealed about what was happening at her sister's home. She spoke about the abuse she endured. Janelyn had been targeted and sexually assaulted summer after summer by Bill Brockbrader. She confided in her father that the abuse began when she was only 10 years old. Wow. when she was only 10 years old. It was a trip in Idaho. It was a trip Brock Breeder took back to Idaho with Tana for her grandfather's funeral when he first targeted her. Now, in this video that I showed on my last show, I'm going to take my thing off here. In this video that I showed on my last show, right, I showed some footage that's up online, right, about him saying about how she was 12 at this funeral. But according to this article, she was actually, in fact, only 10 years old. So even then, in the other video, there's an incongruence with the story here. Do you want to believe him or do you want to believe these guys? Spending the summers on the West Coast was more of an opportunity to have full access to Janelin. A lengthy investigation revealed the truth to everyone, including the military, and Brock Breeder was dishonorably discharged and tried in a military court. Ultimately, in 1998, he was found guilty of 3 counts of sexual offense against a minor. Brock Breeder was sentenced to 11 years in prison, but only served 3 years behind bars for good behavior. Upon his release, everyone would soon learn just how detached from his crimes and arrogant just how detached from his crimes and arrogant Brock Breeder really was. For a period of 2 years, U.S. Marshals said Brock Breeder moved from various states and refused to register as a sex offender. Marshals said he was mainly bouncing from Utah to Las Vegas, Nevada. Authorities said Brock Breeder was arrested twice for violating the Adam Walsh Act. And in 2012, he found himself in court again on trial. Is that why Eva had to go and speak at that convention that we just heard about? Like, oh, he couldn't make it, so I had to speak on his behalf because he was like having to go to court for violating the Adam Walsh Act? Oh, I bet it is. It kind of lines up, doesn't it? Brock Breeder was found guilty and sentenced to another 30 months behind bars in Seattle, Washington. While out both times from his prison sentences, Brock Breeder spent a lot of his time on the internet creating videos where he attacks his victim, Janelin, and talks about how he was the victim and the target by the government. And I showed a bit of that video. On my last show. If you want to see it, it's the show above this one. Lauren, if you want to watch it, you can watch my video before this one because I'm talking to you. There are times, you know what, I already know if this even activates her. Mark my words, Lauren will do a show trashing me, talking about what an awful person I am, because that's all Lauren knows how to do. She can't really fess up and have a real intelligent conversation with anybody about somebody, right? She can't say, oh, really, Tere? Wow. I really care about children. Maybe I got it wrong. You can't do that, Lauren, can you? Why? Because you're probably the one who's the liar. When you're running around stuffing something in your stomach and claiming to have immaculate conception by aliens and then poof, your baby's gone and you don't give a shit, I got to question whether that's not a lie. And I would say it's probably a lie. Right? Just like you're out there hunting for children and taking people's money, right? Isn't that right, Lauren? What kind of work are you really doing to save children when you don't even take the time to research this man in our backyard? You just love the fact that she's trashing Sarah because you're like a petty little, like fighting person. Oh, I hate Sarah. I can't stand Sarah. Anybody that goes up against Sarah, I'm friends with. Well, I've said some things about Sarah, but you and I aren't friends. I wonder why that is. Huh? Why is that? I'm not running around pretending to be something that I'm not. I'm not running around telling people that I'm somebody's twin flame, that I'm Max Spears' twin flame, or I'm, I don't know who else. I'm James Rink's twin flame. I'm not spewing any crap like this in order to get attention on YouTube because that's exactly what you're doing. In Pursuit with John Walsh, host Callahan Walsh said Brock Brader had a new persona and that he created a new narrative about his naval record and his status as a registered sex offender. Oh, what? On what shows did he do this on? Oh, he did it on Carrie Cassidy's show. Oh, you know what? Bill Brock Brader didn't do anything different than a bunch of other people have on Carrie Cassidy's show. Let's face facts here, people. Using the screed to erase his criminal history, Brock Brader claimed he was part of an elite SEAL Team 9, which is another fabrication, especially because SEAL Team 9 does not exist. Retired Navy SEAL Don Shipley has been tracking Brock Brader for years, and he knew Brock Brader was lying about his military service and specifically about serving as a Navy SEAL. Shipley told Callahan Walsh he not only confronted Brock Brader online, but he also filed a civil lawsuit against him in 2012 for defamation. Shipley said he is using those claims specifically to cover up his sexually deviant past. Nothing that comes out of that guy's mouth is the truth. In one video, specifically, Brock Brader claims Janelyn was the one who pursued him, and she was a liar. And he did. And that video I showed, that's exactly what he was doing, guys. He specifically called her out in the video and threatened he was going to make a video of all the details. And he did say that in the video. It was continuous abuse. Even from afar, he was able to attack her as a person and try to damage her credibility. Janelyn told Callahan Walsh that all of her childhood and innocence were taken away from her. Now, what does that sound like? If you guys want to sit out there and go, oh, well, you know, in the cult and the occult rituals or whatever, when the Satanists do it, their goal is to take away your innocence. Well, how is Brock Brader acting any different than they are? After Brock Brader's second release from prison, he was a little active on the internet, making claims the government was conspiring against him. Then all communication stopped. In the spring of 2015, Brock Brader went dark, and now he's on the run. Oh, but his wife comes out and like, you know, and keep his innocence for everybody. Yeah, okay, that's the body of a Navy SEAL. No, it's not. It's a skinny man who is able to build him up a little bit. Okay, nice, good shape there. Let's see if he still looks like that. Oh, this looks great, right? This is great, just freaking great. Brock Brader is addicted to sex. Okay. Brock Brader is addicted to sex and may spend time at swingers clubs in and out of the country, according to investigators. His hair may be thinning or thinner on top. Brock Brader is from Utah. He has the words honor, courage, and commitment written in Arabic on his upper back. Brock Brader is flying under the radar, refuses to register as a sex offender, and is known to be a womanizer. He also specializes in fixing the lasers on laser hair removal tools for salons. Wow, that's a big difference from actually working on special stuff for the Navy SEALs. Still working, still out there, busting, doing stuff for the Panama Papers, whatever other crap she said today. Okay, that's just one. That's just one of the articles today. That's just one of them. Oh, let's find another one, because you know what? Why not? Oh my God, September 1st, 2021. Let's go for another. Lauren, just go ahead and Lauren, just go ahead and Google this. Go ahead and look. Go ahead and look for yourself. Are you going to take the time to do it? Are you going to take the time? Or are you going to stand by your snottiness? Oh, wait, let's go one more. Let's go one more. Just for fun. Huh? Has William Brockbreeder been found? Yeah, I don't want the Heineken. Okay, let's get Heineken off of here. Has William Brockbreeder been found? Is he dead or alive? Where is he now? The second case featured on Investigation Discoveries, the In Pursuit with John Wall's Stolen Lives, is that of William Brockbreeder. William has a history of sexually abusing children. He was convicted of that and was required to register as a sex offender every time he moved. But William repeatedly defied those orders and now is in the wind, evading capture from failure to register. So if you're wondering about the horrific crimes that William has committed, here's what we know about them. Who is William Brockbreeder? William grew up in Hooper, Utah, and met his future wife, Tana, in high school. They married soon after they graduated and moved to San Diego, California, eventually starting a family. At the time, William served in the United States Navy. They had a son together, and in 1993, Tana's sister, Janelyn, came by temporarily to help the family out with a baby. The 11-year-old was William's first victim. His first victim. According to the show, William sexually abused Janelyn many times before her father learned it and alerted the authorities. After his arrest in 1997, he was tried in a military court and convicted of multiple sex offenses against a minor. In 1998, he was sentenced to 11 years in prison. On and on and on. Another arrest. He was eventually taken into custody during a traffic stop about 2 years ago. William followed the same pattern when he moved to Garden City, Idaho in early 2012. He did not tell the authorities that he had left town and did not register in Garden City either. This led to another arrest in May of 2012. He was then sentenced in March of 2013 to 30 months for failure to register as a sex offender. That was followed by 10 years of supervised release. Has he been? Oh, and here's that tent video. Yeah, he did a lot of tent videos. I showed one of those videos in my last show. William was released in 2014. Yet again, he failed to register as a sex offender, continuing an alarming pattern. He has since been evading the United States Marshal Service. According to the show, William started appearing online in videos and other interviews where he made false claims about his military history and past. The last video he was known to have appeared in was from 2015, but the location he uploaded from remains unknown. He has not been seen or heard from since then and is still a fugitive of the law. And those are the series of the videos that I showed one of them before. So I don't think I have to go on anymore on this, right? I mean, can't we safely say that we're there on this? Okay, I'm looking at some of your comments. Wait, I'm looking at it's bad when even panhandling Carrie Cassidy throws Brockbreeder under the bus. That's as bad as it gets. Yes, I'm Alex Jones's twin flame. Well, IDK, good to know. Alex Jones's twin flame. Okay. Out of Mind, welcome to the show. Out of Mind's laughing, haha. I'm glad you're laughing because I was like, I get so pissed sometimes. I get pissed that I even have to I didn't even want to I'm like, when I saw this video, I was like, oh God, here we go. And, I made myself watch it. I mean, it's kind of like, to watch the whole thing, but because it's a lot of lies, it's a lot of bullshit to watch for the whole show. Okay. So, I want to, since there's about 16 people here now, hold on. Where did my, okay, yeah. I might actually, I don't know how much juice I have left. God, I've been going for an hour and 38 minutes. Darn it! I wanted to talk about the topic of the augmented reality. All right. But before I start that, I think I'm gonna like live stream on Instagram at the same time, just for fun. Okay. While I'm having this conversation, because I want to take some of this footage and add it to my podcast. And when you, okay, no, this is not what I want to do. When you go live on Instagram, okay, first of all, let me kind of explain. Well, maybe I won't. Wait. Maybe I won't explain until I go on. No, I don't want that. I want.
Look how big. I'm drunk.
I want to go live. When I go live, it gives me the opportunity to add augmented realities. Here's what's going on. I'm in a test group in Facebook, and it's called Spark AR Go. And I got a questionnaire on Instagram, and it's like, do you want to be in a new study on Instagram and Facebook to use this new software? And it's augmented reality. So, I mean, there's a lot of apps out there, like, TikTok does it too. You can do all these different apps and do these funny faces and this and that. And this has been around for a while, but it's really the beginning of the metaverse. And it kind of reminds me of that show, Surrogates, right? Because like whenever you do the extra little thing on your face, you're way more attractive, right? You're way more attractive when you have all the bells and whistles. Of course, if you go like this, your mouth, gets distorted in the hologram. Like, just to show you again, I started the show out with it, but I want to show you some of the clips of some stuff that I did. So let me go to my branding, because I uploaded a video. I want to show you the fun though, because this is fun. I don't want to poo-poo all of it, because what if, and I know I'm thinking way out there probably, but it's getting harder and harder to do live shows if you're a pureblood, right? When I say pureblood, I'm saying you didn't get the jab, because the improv is like, I would love to go back on stage and be a comedian, like, live, right? And but you have to have the jab in order to do it, to work a lot of different venues. And even with all these other strains and stuff like that, you're always constantly being exposed. So I thought, like, well, what would be like if I had a virtual comedy club where you could be in the comedy club with me and I could actually hear you laugh. Like, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to doing like shows online and be able to be in a virtual reality with that. And then that's just me, right? So I want to show you some of the virtual stuff now this isn't, I'm not allowed to do the Spark AR Go stuff because it's in the testing phase, and we can only share it on Instagram or on Facebook. Okay, so let me just show it to you really quick, and then I'm gonna go in and do like another thing on Instagram, right? So I just show you. Let me just show you.
This is a app that I'm using that virtually practically changes my face, right? I mean, look how big my eyes are. Look how big. I'm on drugs. Merry Christmas, everybody. Now I'm going to have somebody come out and go, oh, it's proof she really does do drugs. Look at her. Look at those eyes. I know this might be a shock for you, but I've been going through menopause. But despite that, I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Things are fun, right? I mean, aren't they? I mean, they're fun. Now, a lot of the people that are in the group. Okay, so I'm going to pick out an augmented reality for when I do my broadcast. Let me see. There was one that had a mustache, but maybe I shouldn't do the mustache, right? I'm trying to figure out. Let's see, what do I want here? Okay, maybe I'll do. No, I don't want that. Let me see. I'm trying to find out the right. Oh, here. I've got dog ears on this one. All right, so I've got little dog ears and I got a dog nose. Okay, so now I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start my show with the dog ears on, right? So, all right. Welcome to Not My Rabbit Hole, the podcast. I'm Tere, Joyce, your host. I know I haven't been here in a long time, and I'm actually dual broadcasting on YouTube as well as on my hey, hi. I have people saying hi, yay, yeah. I've got on Instagram. I have dog ears. Okay, cute hair. Oh, you like my hair? Thank you. Oh, see, my hair still stands out. Yeah, you know what? I put in a little bit of a color on it today from the London Bleach Company. It's just it's called pearlescent, and it's got a very light kind of pearlescent pink color to it. And I got my pink glasses on too, so I can read what's going on here. All right, so I'm doing my Not My Rabbit Hole podcast. I haven't been broadcasting in a long time on my podcast. This is going to go up on Anchor and on Spotify. I'm also on YouTube, and I want to talk about the title of my show is Merry Augmented Reality Christmas. And this is the new augmented reality. And I mentioned the TV show Surrogates. I don't know if you, not the TV show, but the movie Surrogates with Bruce Willis, where they all have a synthetic other body walking around that's way more attractive and perfect than the ones that are actually at home. And in a way, I think this is a version of it. I don't know if you guys have seen, because we're in the metaverse now. So I don't know if you guys have seen Mark Zuckerberg's stuff on the metaverse. I'm sorry you guys are missing this cute dog combo here for this video. Look, even my nose moves a little bit if I keep going. Okay. Sala Bonilla. Hey Terry, both Elizabeth and I say hello. Hi, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Salo and Elizabeth. So I'm really glad. It's nice to see you here. That's fantastic. Thank you, Cellar Door. I look great as it is. Thank you. That's but I appreciate that. I don't always feel great looking all the time. Sometimes, if there's a little bit of an app enhancement to make your skin look a little bit better. So is that really fudging? I'm wanting to brand, a new thing. One of the things that I was doing when I went to college, and I'm not done doing college. I did my first semester, but I've gone back to college as an older woman. I hate to say how old I am, but maybe I should. All right. I'm 59. I'm 59 years old, right? All right. I am. I'm 59. And I decided that I wanted to go back and get a degree in journalism. And then I found out that I can get my associates in journalism and then go 2 more years and get into Bachelor of Arts in journalism, media, and film. And, because, I've worked as a stand-up comedian for many years, and I don't want to stop working as a stand-up comedian. But we're going to get to how that might be possible still in the metaverse. All right, so we're going to go there for a minute. I don't want to stop, but I wanted to work on my writing. I took a fiction writing class, and I got all these pieces that I wrote that we had to do in class, and did a portfolio. Oh, my ears went right there for a minute. Did a portfolio, and I worked my first act of a screenplay that I'm working on and stuff. And I would like to publish something too as well. And I enjoy writing essays. I wrote a couple of essays, and so one of the things that I've been really curious about, and I even wrote a few papers about, was artificial intelligence. And, and I did some research into robotics as well. And there is a possibility, okay, that through artificial intelligence, there could be networked persons. And this is legitimate. I found, this is not conspiracy theories. I mean, I went to the school's website when I was researching it to find out these periodicals on it. And there is a possibility that we could have our own minds, our own brains, wired by this, the artificial intelligence. My buddy Rich, Merry Christmas, Craig X is in the house on Instagram. Craig X, I don't know if you guys know who Craig X is, but maybe you do. Craig X had a medical marijuana dispensary that was also a Judeo-Christian temple. Yo, yes. Okay, we have a big history between each other, Craig X and I, and I love Craig. It's so good to see you here. Okay, so, but anyways, he has a whole history. Like Craig X is a legend. You just look him up. He's a freaking legend in the cannabis world. Oh God, I have my glasses on. See, even the glasses still work with the augmented reality. Okay, so this is all fun, right? But you know what? I kind of look cute as a dog, but but in reality, I'm not really going to look like that, right? But it's kind of fun, it's kind of fun to, if I want to, what do we call it? Like, if I want to identify with a canine, I can definitely accomplish it on Instagram right now. So I'm in this study. Never would have guessed my age. Thank you. No, you know what? Here's what I want to do besides like doing this, because I love doing this. I love our community. Like I love talking about UFO stuff, and I love conspiracy theories too. I mean, I freaking love it. I just love it. All right. I don't think I'm ever gonna leave or stop doing comedy or something like that. But I want to take things a notch in another direction, and I'd like to brand pro-age empowerment. I'm not the only person that would, it's already out there, but pro-age empowerment, being that as a person, whether you're male, female, or whatever, or transgender, or in between, or whatever, right? But just because you get older doesn't mean that you have to stop learning, doesn't mean that your life ends, doesn't mean that, that you're just an old cow, like ready to be thrown out. Like, it's okay for me to go back to school if I want to and get educated. And, I had a person, can you tell me, like I've talked about this before, like when I said I was going to go back to college and study journalism, I was all excited about it. I'm all excited about it because I really feel that freedom of speech, to be able to express ourselves, to be able to express, for me to argue with Lauren Pritchard, who is like an actual personality on YouTube here, who has a YouTube channel, she's a public personality, but to disagree with her and have an argument is a blessing. Right? It's a blessing for us to be able to express our thoughts and express our ideas, because as a government, you do not have a democracy unless you have free speech. We do not have a democracy if we can't speak freely. Right? Okay. And I know that's in question right now. And I know it's really hard to do that on social media. By the way, I am going to create a channel on Odyssey as well. And I think I'm going to call it the things you can't say on YouTube. All right. Because And I really, the people who created Odyssey, I saw them do a tweet, and they said that people were questioning them, like, well, why don't you just censor people? Like, why don't you just censor people like YouTube does? And they said, because we don't believe in that. And by the way, our response is, why don't you suck our dicks? And I'm like, hey, man, I want to go on those guys' network. I want to go on the guys when they go, hey, why don't you just censor people? When they go, hey, why don't you suck our dicks? I'm like, oh, those are my peeps. Those are my peeps, right? Because we should have the freedom to look at somebody and go, yeah, you know what? Why don't you just go ahead and suck my dick? I know I don't have one, but you should just go ahead and suck my virtual dick. Okay. Just suck my virtual dick, or I'm being really naughty right now. All right. So when we're talking about augmented reality, this with the little dog ears, right, is part of like what I was doing with Spark AR Go. And I'm still a publisher. I hope they don't get me in trouble for doing this, because I'm not showing any of the stuff that I created. And I kind of got into it. And the people that are doing this, they're all entrepreneurs. Like some of them are singers and musicians and this and that. And, they have their own business and they're wanting to do little quick videos and do something that's going to catch people's eye and things like that. But eventually we're all going to go to the metaverse. And I'm going to share something on my YouTube channel here. Amen. You're a modern day Thomas Paine. Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you. Thank you, Craig X. I'm honored. Okay, so let us look at the metaverse for a second, because I'm going to share this on YouTube right here. Mark Zuckerberg is betting Facebook's future on the metaverse. The future of the company would go far beyond its current project of building a set of connected social apps and some hardware to support them, which is some of what we're doing right now. All right, so Mark Zuckerberg, just so you guys know, because you can't see this part right here, but if you do want to come on my channel, I'm on Not My Rabbit Hole on YouTube if you want to see this part. But it says Facebook CEO on why the social media is becoming a metaverse company. As June came to an end, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg told his employees about an ambitious new initiative. Okay, so the article goes on. I don't know if you guys, I don't even know if I want to read this right now, because it's long, right? And I'm doing two different things, and you guys can't see it. But in a moment on my other channel, I'm going to show a video from Facebook. So if you guys want to come on the other channel, go ahead. But just the way the augmented reality looks. But, let's say, honestly, I have to admit that if I'm going to re-upload this to Anchor, even if I had this in an audio format, you couldn't see what Mark Zuckerberg is saying. So I should probably just explain it to you. And you know what? Probably a lot of you out there are already up on this. I don't really think that I'm showing you any new information about Meta or the metaverse at all. But what they're creating is like Mark Zuckerberg comes around and he's in this virtual reality. And really, Merry Christmas, Mark Zuckerberg, by the way. Merry Christmas. Let's not just throw everybody under the bus. I know that you probably have been already hacked by AI because your eyes are black sometimes. You don't seem like a real human being. But, here we are, on social media, moving to this virtual reality where, pretty much all, who knows, maybe we can have a comedy club and a virtual comedy club. Trust me, I want to be one of the first people out there to have a comedy show in the metaverse, right? So you go there and it's like, this is your new world. This is where you're going to, be at. This, you can be anything you want. This can be your office and, so right now, you guys are seeing my actual background, right? My home, my casa, all right? You can see my real reality. But, with a green screen already, you can put in a different reality, right? But in the metaverse, it's going to be 3D and, we've got the Ray-Ban glasses and the Oculus glasses. And, it could become a completely different world. And that is where everything's going. So even though we're sitting back wearing little dog ears, having a really great time and a fun conversation, the reality is that our life is changing. I'm going to say it right now. We know that. We know we're headed to something else. Now, is everybody going to join in on it? Do we have a choice? Is there a positive side to this? Well, if you're stuck in your home, right? If you can't go outside because of what's going on in the world, maybe having a virtual reality way of relating to people, you could actually really go to work in a virtual reality, sit in your virtual reality desk, type your virtual reality stuff, right? And maybe get your virtual reality money and use your virtual reality chip. No, I'm going a little bit too far on it, but I don't know. Like this is like almost like the beginning of transhumanism too, right? The digital world, the digital money, the reality someplace else. Like this is fun. I love it. It's fun. This is fun, right? Little dog nose, like letting your face get like you stick my nose through my finger through here. Yeah, that really throws it off. Yeah, that's a problem, right? Right. Stephen Ellen Green, hi. I'm gonna give Stephen Ellen Green a wave. Yeah, I thought I would broadcast tonight and talk about the virtual reality, metaverse, and everything. So I think that I guess I should keep going, right? I mean, Stephen Ellen Green. Now I'm running for Congress. Craig X is running for Congress. And you know what? Maybe you can campaign in a virtual reality, Craig X. Congratulations. See, there's some good people that are still in politics. Jason America. Oh my God. Jason. You know what? I'm kind of running out of juice on my laptop. Do you guys want to come on my show? I mean, like, do you want to do a roundtable? Like, I could do an invite here in the chat. And if you, Jason America, it would be so great to have you on tonight. I stopped doing Comedy Portland because of the wokeness. Oh, okay. Sorry. I think if I went back to Portland, they'd probably tar and feather me. I'm not well liked in Portland. I got myself in trouble there too. Like Lauren Pritchard thinks she has a problem with me. You should hear about some of the people in Portland talk about raising chaos, for the freedom of the cannabis plant. You know what? Let's talk about raising chaos sometimes. Sometimes you need to raise chaos. Sometimes chaos needs to be raised in order to forge a new frontier. Right? I know some people are going to go against me on the cannabis thing, but I'll tell you something. Oh, by the way, let me just say this to you guys about being in college. I forgot to tell you this. I got a 4.0. I got a 4.0 my first semester. And when I talk about ageism and stuff, I had this one woman, like when I said, oh, I'm going to go back to school and get a degree in journalism. She goes, do you think you have enough brain power for that? Do you think you have enough at your age? This is what she said. At your age, do you think you have enough brain power for that? I'm like, bitch, watch this. Right? I mean, what an insult. Like automatically, like when you get older, you're not supposed to have a brain anymore. Did you know? I did not know that I got to an age where I became mentally deficient, that I no longer can learn anything. I can no longer apply myself to anything. I have no purpose left in society other than what? Getting ready to go get my, right? And, go whatever, go sit over here, sit down. You can't create anything anymore. We need to stop doing that. Did the virtual thing go like what? I still got my nose. Oh, I still got my ears. Yeah. Okay. This is like two different realities. Like I got a reality here and I got a reality here. This one's more virtual. Okay. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm at Tere Joyce. So please follow me there. And if you want to follow me on Facebook, I'm there too. Congratulations on my grades. Thank you, Artem Moran. Yeah, I had like things that were in my way. I had obstacles and I still did it. Yeah, I'm happy. Now, next semester may not be as easy because I have to take Math 45 and I'm not as good at math. I'm a communication person. I'm an English communication writing person. The math thing kind of escapes me a little bit. So I'm probably gonna have to have a tutor. I don't know. Maybe I'm underestimating myself, but I've always kind of had a problem with the math stuff. Isn't that kind of how it is? Like you usually don't have both sides going on, for it. Jason America, you moved to mountaintop in rural Oregon. Nice. Oregon is still like such a wonderful state. I mean, it's just like a lot of the things that are going on there are just, not good, right? So Jeff, I don't know if Jeff is still here because I think he was mainly here to hear me talk about Bill Brockbrader, because I've been live streaming on my YouTube channel since 9 o'clock. So I just did the Instagram like at the last minute to do the point about the virtual reality. How do you guys feel about it? Are you ready? Are you ready for Meta? Seller Door says I'll be fine. If I work really hard, I think I'll do okay. Okay, I'm on financial aid, right? So I got a couple of grants. I will qualify for scholarships now. I got asked. Oh, get this, okay? I got asked to do the Frederick Douglass scholarship. All right, because that's given to minorities. Right, Frederick Douglass. You know who he was. He had a paper out in the way back when with our founding fathers. He had a paper to go against racism. He was a black man. Okay, Frederick Douglass. There's a Frederick Douglass scholarship that I got asked to do because my birth last name is Olguin. Olguin, and it's Spanish. All right. So I'm Hispanic. I'm a Latino. I know. I've got this. Well, this is kind of a purplish pink light color I have on it, but I lost my melanin. I had a white hair at 15. Okay. So I had dark hair. I had really dark hair. I'm not a natural blonde. And I'm really a Latino, so I qualify for the Frederick Douglass scholarship. It's like $1,600 for it, right? I mean, they give to certain people, but I almost feel bad. I told my mom, I go, well, I don't want to be like the what's her name, Pocahontas, right? You know what I'm talking about, Pocahontas, that that ran for president. She's like, oh, I'm Native American, and I've got, I'm definitely qualified for these grants. I don't want to be like that person, like go, oh, and the Frederick Douglass grant goes to Tere Joyce. I'm like, don't shoot me. But it doesn't matter really. Like, does it matter what the melanin is? Does it matter like what we look like? Like I always used to argue, people would go, well, Barack Obama is a black man, and if you criticize his politics, you're a racist, right? I mean, like you were automatically a racist. Well, you don't like a black man in office? No, but look, he's not all. He was half white. Not only was he half white, but he's related to all the other presidents. I'm like, why do people like he's still part white? Okay, he looks like a black man, but he's a half white, half black man. It's just like, I look like a white woman, but I'm a half Mexican, half white woman. It's like it just doesn't matter. So, my mom says, go get it. Go get the scholarship because you qualify. Anyway, so I know. You guys are laughing. Oh, that's nice. See, in the metaverse, see, LMAO. Thank you. And, in the metaverse, we might be able to hear like digital laughter in the metaverse, right? And you know what I really love about the apps, like the makeup ones, I did with Spark AR Go. I have it up on my Instagram. Like I can share it on Instagram and I can share it on Facebook. I had like this this nice makeup and the eyeliner and everything like that. And you can smooth out the, underlines and, but like, again, just don't put your hand, in the line of the hologram thing. So trippy. So this is the trippy part of our world. Cellar Door, I agree with your mom. Okay. I'll let her know that, like my mom. Yeah, I've told it to a few people. And they go, you should just go ahead and apply. You should just go ahead and apply. So, Okie dokie 989 joined. I'm gonna give you a little wave. This is fun. See, here's the deal. People they ask me, oh, well, are you still doing stand-up comedy? Well, actually, I did do some stand-up for extra credit in my English 3 class, right? Which was critical thinking. It was in my English 3 class, critical thinking, that I learned the term ad hominem, meaning that when you're having an argument, when you just jump to insulting somebody's character rather than defending your point. And that's why I was able to retaliate to Lauren Pritchard and say, you know what? Because every time I argue something with her, online or whatever, that I'm she, she has something, she calls me a liar or whatever. Which she said I wasn't an admirable person. I'm not an admirable person. If you call me on my bullshit, I'm going to tell you that you're not an admirable person. Okay. Oh, does he my nose made a weird noise? She probably does coke. No, I don't. I don't do coke. I have bad sinuses though. I don't have the sinuses to do cocaine, but I wouldn't do it anyways. But I am having a little bit of vino, a little bit of wine, a toast to everybody for Christmas. I hope that everyone has a wonderful New Year's and Christmas. And I really am glad to have platforms like YouTube and Instagram just to do shows and talk to you guys. Because in real life, I mean, I there's some people that I see in real life. Like my aunt came over and visited me, and she brought me, comforters and dishware and by the way, I got this. She got me these, right? And let me show you my shirt. It's like this whole kind of silk blouse kind of thing. And she brought me like all these jackets. And this, I started out with this, but it got kind of warm. But this is kind of like a little velvety stuff. So my aunt took care of me. Matter of fact, this is her picture right here. It's my aunt, my uncle. It's my aunt. That's my aunt. Oh, look, my aunt has dog. Look at the virtual thing put dog ears on my aunt's face. Isn't that funny? That's so funny. Or, oh my God, look, it gave her virtual ears. Wow. Yeah, I really do have family, guys. I mean, I have family. I know I might seem like, that I don't, that I'm just, some, loser. What was it? Taj, I don't have to answer any of your questions. You're just a loser living in a trailer. You don't have the brain power to go back to college. Shut up. Okay. I don't know how this is going to turn out for Anchor, but anyways, everybody on Anchor and Spotify who listens to my show, maybe if you even listen to this after Christmas, then Happy New Year. And thanks for listening to my channel. I really appreciate it. If you want to find me on Facebook, again, my name is Tere Joyce. I also have Not My Rabbit Hole on Facebook. If you want to support my work, because I am gonna start focusing on this. I keep saying, I'm gonna have a Patreon and this and that, but I will have that out there. There's also a way to follow me on Anchor and on Not My Rabbit Hole, and there's like a Patreon thing there. I'm on PayPal, HollywoodHemptress@gmail.com, and everything else. All right. Oh! Jason America is deboning rabbit for sausage. You might have really upset a lot of people that might be vegans tonight, but fuck them. Who cares about them, right? I'm kidding. Sorry. You saying that makes me think there was there's a show, I think it's on Showtime. It's called Yellow Jackets. And it's about these women that were part of a soccer team that were in some sort of plane crash. And so they were having to survive out there. I haven't, like, I was in a motel when I was like in between places, and I was watching it, and I don't know the end of it, but there's this one scene where one of the characters like just debones or like just like kills a rabbit in the yard, and then you know, cooks it in the stew, because I guess she had these different kind of survival skills. I'm cracking you up tonight. Good. Thank you. You know, it's good to hear that I'm cracking you up, because yes, that show is weird and wild. It is, isn't it? Yeah. I wish I had I could go back to on Showtime and watch it again. But I don't have that opportunity now. I'll have to wait till it comes out on Netflix or something. Speaking of shows that I binge watched, and I even wrote a paper on it, was Squid Games. That was that dystopian show where they're playing those like childhood games that, you know, that you actually get killed until you have the last person who didn't get killed, and they get billions of dollars. One of the things that I thought was interesting about that was I found an article in Australia. They had the you know, the first red light character, or, you know, robot, that people and some characters dressed up like in the outfits with the triangles on their faces and stuff like that. They did a whole display in Australia, but you had to show proof of vaccination in order to, like, you know, engage in the display. So I don't know, make what you will out of that. That's all. I'm going to leave that at that, because even though, like, you know, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, but I just thought that was kind of interesting that they did that. Okay, so I'm going to say goodbye to Instagram and go back to YouTube. I don't have much time left. I have 17 minutes left on my YouTube channel, on my battery on my laptop, and I've already been talking for 2 hours and 15 minutes. So, anyways, Merry Christmas, you guys, and yay, Craig X! I'm glad you're running. You're running for Congress. I'm going to vote for you, Craig X. All right, bye. How do I end this? And view edited, view insights, share. Next. Oh, I got to put a title. Okay, well, sorry about this. I'm going to have to put a title. Happy Augmented. Because if you don't save it, it's gone. Okay, Christmas. Now I'm going to post it. Okay, so that's posting. And I don't know. Good night. Good night, Art of Moran. All right, so let me find something to. I closed with. Oh, it's already titled here. But it wasn't titled on. I was streaming on Instagram at the same time, so I had to retitle it. Improved people can view and send Instagram. Okay, let me come back to that. Oh, there's so many new things. Approve this, approve that. We have a new way of doing this. You know, how are we gonna do this again? All right, so Gotcha. I'm sorry. No worries. No worries. I mean, I was just, you probably, I'm not going to, that's fine. But yeah, I already titled this one. I have 50 rabbits. Jason America has 50 rabbits, 11 pigs, and 5 sheep. Jason America, good for you. I miss you, Jason America. I want to bring. I'd like to do more shows with other people on it, not just by myself. Like I said, I want to expand a little bit differently. So, well, for you guys that are here until the end, I really appreciate you. KB, Arta Moran, Cellar Door 33, Jason America, IDK. Out of Mind, Salo Bonilla. Out of Mind, this is interesting. Oh, I heard about that tonight. CW went off again against Cambion, right? Ah, ha, ha, ha. As much as I would enjoy that, I won't give him either of them my time any longer. F them both? Nah. Oh, you know what? Okay, in reference to that, that is, I guess Cambion did a Christmas show and called it, what was it? Fire something? Fire dumpster. And that was something that Cambion coined, not Cambion, but CW coined years ago when he did a roundtable. And so he was upset about it. And those guys go back and forth. Do you like my glasses? I got this just from the Dollar Tree. You know, they're just regular cheaters because Brock Rader couldn't make the Super Soldier Conference because he got arrested at that traffic stop. Eva took his place instead. It does seem like that. Yeah, I mean, like the timeline adds up, right? I know people that there are hardcore people that believe everything that Miles Johnston farts, basically, right? Miles Johnston knows it all. There's people that are going to believe everything that comes out of him. I'm believing him less and less every day. Matter of fact, I don't believe much anymore. I got a big question mark on them, and the fact that Bill Brockbrader is actually convicted, like I don't know where Lauren gets off when she her channel is all about saving the children, and yet she doesn't really have the time to really research Bill Brockbrader and find out that's a hypocrisy about our media. That's a hypocrisy. Like if you can't look in your own backyard and go, oh yeah, this doesn't add up right. This isn't right. This person's is arrested or a liar or like what I feel violated in the sense like why did you waste my time? Like why did I allow you to waste my headspace into like something that's not a lie? I feel the reason why I wanted to get into any type of media is because I wanted to either educate the truth about something or find the truth about it. Like when it was about the cannabis plant, it was like when I realized that I was sold yellow journalism and propaganda about a plant that can provide paper, fiber, fuel, energy, medicine. People go, oh, climate change and global warming and your carbon footprint. When this whole time, if we had if the corporate people, the oligarchs, like the Rockefellers and the DuPonts and the JP Morgans, did not get together and band together to ban a plant that would literally save this planet in order to keep their own industry going. And that's the biggest lie, the first lie that ever happened. That's what got me turned on. That's what got me turned on about finding about the truth and talking about the truth. But you know what? When I say those things, this gives the opportunity for people who don't like other things that I'm researching to call me a pothead and all these different, immature names. You know, it's the same thing. Like I could just see like to me, I think that would be something for Lauren Pritchard just to run with. You know, use it to whatever negativity they do. But you know what? That's not original. That's not thought-provoking. That's not using your brain. That's not going like, hey, you know what? I've been conditioned to believe things a certain way, and yet now I can't go back and relearn something new. Like I'm an old dog that can't do new tricks. I don't want to be an old dog. Do you? I mean, how are we going to move forward as people if we don't question the things around us? That just because somebody sits up in front of a microphone and goes, oh yeah, blah, 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 and this happened and that happened. And you know what? I saw a big, tall, gray alien and I saw a tall white outside my window, and we just believe it. We just go, oh, because they said it. You never once think that maybe they're just making it up. Like maybe something like Bill Brockbrader is just, you know, making it up, that he's a convicted sex offender, that Carrie Cassidy and these other people have been pushing like he was some sort, that he was a Navy SEAL working for Team 9. We should be embarrassed as people watching this and then arguing it as if it's a fact. Like, oh, you know what? No, they're just being framed. They're just being framed. That's not true. That's not true. He's a victim. Okay, well, then you're aiding and abetting a convicted pedophile. Good for you. Congratulations. Merry Christmas. Good for you. Prove that he's innocent, because it's already been proven that he's guilty, and he's a fugitive. So prove that he's innocent. Don't just give half of a story of Miles Johnson's show and then wipe your hands and go, oh, I'm done. I'm done. Yeah. Nice damage control. Nice propaganda, Miles Johnston. Nice propaganda. Nice yellow journalism. Nice lying on YouTube, giving us fake news. Nice. Nice. Now go do another convention and try to make some more money. Try to save your ass. What is we should call the Basis Project. We save face for criminals because we still need to make the money. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? Okay, I'll get off my high horse now. All right. I have 3% remaining. I have 5 minutes left tonight. Good night, you guys. Merry Christmas. And I will see you soon. Happy holidays. All right. Preach, sister. Thank you. All right. This was fun. I'm glad I did a show tonight. Good night.